There's been quite a bit of Saharan dust across the eastern Caribbean, and obviously it's been falling across Trinidad and Tobago as well. Meanwhile, we have the newest system, which is Debbie, which has basically formed out in the North Atlantic. It poses no threat to land. As you can see, Bermuda is well away from the system, and it will likely be a short-lived system because it's leaving the warm waters, heading towards the north over cooler waters, and will likely obviously dissipate in the next few days. But obviously during this time of the year, August, middle to late hurricane season, we tend to be watching the eastern Caribbean quite closely, as well as the waters out towards the Atlantic, for any sort of system that will likely develop. And obviously we're keeping you updated as we go through August towards the peak in September. But right now we only have a couple of tropical waves out there. One is set to come by Trinidad and Tobago, but most of the activity will likely push towards the north across the Lesser Antilles. But for us, we'll continue to see maybe a bit of haze first thing, but then we'll likely see a bit more cloudiness beginning to push through as you get towards the latter half of your day. So through Wednesday then, watch for a couple of brief showers through Scarborough and then down towards Canaan. And for Trinidad, here you will likely see a lot more cloudiness, maybe beginning to build along the south coast. But it doesn't mean that we won't get fully away from that Saharan dust. So for Arima, out towards Valencia into Piarco, maybe a few clouds passing through, a few brief showers as well. But the haze will still be there along the north coast through Toco into Blanchisseuse and eventually continuing throughout the afternoon. But for central and the southern areas, you'll see a lot more moisture. Therefore, it will likely feel a bit sticky at times despite that breeze along the east coast. And a few showers are possible, especially around the San Fernando and Moruga. So temperature-wise, tonight looking at 25 degrees Celsius in Trinidad, 27 degrees Celsius in Tobago, so likely to be a warm night, and looking at temperatures of 31 to 32 in Tobago and maybe 32 in San Fernando under the humid conditions there. Now for Thursday as well as for Friday, maybe a bit more moisture is likely, but especially for Trinidad, we could be seeing some of those showers, the possibility of them turning thundery as well for Thursday, simply because of some moisture pushing in from the south. But for Friday and Saturday, conditions should begin to clear quite nicely towards the weekend. For fisherfolk heading out on Wednesday, those fresh east-northeasterly winds of 20 knots will likely bring some whitecaps, but the waves will likely be on the smaller side, 1.5 meters through the Caribbean, and short easterly swells of 7 seconds for the most part for boaters. So you'll notice as you go through the next few days that definitely the seas will be subsiding, especially toward Thursday. Now, across the rest of the eastern Caribbean, they've been experiencing a lot of that Saharan dust, and that dust will likely continue to push its way across the Caribbean, especially for Hispaniola as well as for Jamaica. So they could be seeing quite a bit of the dusty haze from Kingston into Port-au-Prince as well as for Santo Domingo. But further to the west for Havana, they'll continue to see a few brief showers here and 33 degrees Celsius. But for Port-au-Prince, it will not only be hazy, it will also be quite hot at 36 degrees Celsius. For us in the eastern Caribbean, we'll begin to see all of that haze being pushed aside. A few brief showers will come through for the most part. So that's good news, especially for those in Dominica as well as for St. Lucia. A few clouds will likely bring some showers across the hillsides there, and then down towards us here in Trinidad and Tobago will be less hazy with a few brisk showers around as well. So that's weather, and that's it from me.